Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this Link to the Past daily race here on Speed Gaming number 3. We have Open Boots, so it's a familiar face. Open Boots, we've seen this on the SG Live qualifiers. And we have Edium, Humbug, Scarlet, and CJ. Jeez. I'm Professor Renderer, and joining me is Mendium. How you doing?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the kind words, Professor Renderer. Open Boots, like you said, we've seen quite a bit of it recently. Most of these runners should be well familiar with it if they've been partaking in the Speed Gaming Live qualifiers.
Yeah, but our only exception in this case is that we will have Quick Swap off. So this is the one exception to this, from what we've seen in SG Live from these qualifiers. So it should be pretty interesting, I would imagine.
I would think so. We'll otherwise get a normal 7-7 seed.
Yeah, but normal 7-7 seed indeed, and we will have it on board.
Looks like we have a grand total of 10 racers, including our 4 featured today. It looks like we've got a decent range of skill levels, and I think we're going to see some top-level play from everybody.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this lineup here. Got some pretty familiar faces in here from just a whole wide range of things. And all right, we'll just be on our way pretty soon. The flag has been dropped here. We'll be on the way pretty soon. So, what do you expect from this seed, Mendium?
It's hard to say until we get going. We'll probably see plenty of Uncle Starts. Check the first couple of chests, see if you get a reasonable weapon to go through and clear out early escape. If not, you'll go drop over into the village for all of those checks. Once you have your items there, then you'll see how the seed's going to try and open up for you.
Personally, I want a clean and fair fight, and I will actually want to see a bit more of that Sarsaparilla in check deck, because we've seen that quite a bit with the SG Live qualifiers. It's one of the big strats from that particular set of qualifiers.
That is true. With the boots, you can bonk that wall behind Sarsaparilla. You're not reliant on getting bombs in Link's house to go do it.
That is 100% true. Can't wait to see this happening. And we are underway. One of our runners, CJ, heading over to Link's house while everyone else is going over to Sanctuary. We had 20 rupees in the Link's house and just a single rupee within the good old Sanctuary. We did get our map check. There was a vanilla green pendant alongside crystals in Desert Palace and Tower of Hera.
And it looks like Jay is making exactly that play you were talking about, taking his starting boots and going right over to Sarsaparilla to check those 3 items.
And this is a pretty big one. We got a bow right at the start of the gate with our bunk rocks.
That's certainly not bad. You may well see some Eastern plays in the dark with that bow.
And quite a potpourri of different items. I think that's the word I'm using. That we had a cape, we had a bottle, and we have bombos. Humbug, along with pretty much everyone else, is going to check out what is on that good old Lumberjack Ledge. And that, oh boy, here we go. We have a hammer in Lumberjack Ledge, so Aga 1 may more likely than not be required.
That's pretty close to a certainty at this point.
Yeah, and with that hammer, we could definitely see Aga just being killed right away. We do have one of our Aga pieces anyway, and also we have a Book of Adora hanging out in the mushroom spots. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of these runners goes over to the pedestal and get it out of the way.
You're right here, right now. It's not going to get any easier unless you have the mirror over by Skullwoods later.
And Eddie, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep, it looks like Edium's going to make that play.
Yeah, this is the exact play I would make, because Eddie, with the book in hand, is in such a close spot, and we have sorry, Sept is dead, but just because of that the fact that the book is right there, you can get a pet check right away, and seeing that we don't need to pet any in this case, because it was just couch cash. So, at just the 2-minute mark, we're already seeing pet dead.
And it's good knowledge to have. He now knows that if there's not an item on those pendant bosses, unless it's the green pendant, he doesn't need to kill them.
Yeah, this is a pretty big deal. So we're now into the Kakariko checks. Got a couple of bombs, almost 20 rupees, and that Moon Pearl. And more bombs to add on to it, and Adium having a bit of game knowledge, saying that, hey, you can actually bonk this. You can bonk this little set of rocks and get a bomb out of it every time you get over there. Every time you yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Sick kit check. Go ahead.
Yep, that bonk rocks is not a 50-50. That is a 100% guaranteed bomb. If you have the boots, you can get it every time.
And there's the power glove over in the well. And the mirror. And we got some bombs, heart piece, and some rupees to end that off.
And just enough rupees to make the bottle vendor check. Which turns out to be just a piece of heart, but you'll take it, especially this early in the game.
Yeah, with that full heart container, it's very nice to see that just this early on. You have more hearts to work with, and even though this is just the first hearts of the match, it's still very nice to have it in that early game.
Plus, that way, if you see heart pieces out in the open later, you're already a little closer to the level of hearts you feel safe with, and maybe you can save a little time by passing those up.
Oh yeah, for sure. And now Edium's gonna go get that glove and mirror. And now Humbug heading over to that library. And it's just the Titan's Mitts. Hello. Now we do have our Dark World access, but like we mentioned before, we did have that hammer on the Lumberjack ledge, so we will need to kill Aga 1.
At some point, but at least with our Dark World access through the gloves, you can put it off for a little while if you're waiting for more equipment, or if you just want to route it in at a more convenient time.
Exactly, and we do, because we do have one of our pieces for our Aga puzzle, and that being the cape from off of Sahasrara's hut. That was CJ's first play that he made. Scarlet looks like she's going to head over to that, just actually go and check this blind. And we also have our Dark World map check. Both of our Medallion dungeons are 5/6 crystals. And I saw Skull Woods having a pendant. Don't know where the other one was, though.
Well, that's going to lock in the certainty that you're going to need to go get that hammer at some point.
Of course, yeah, because we know that with our hammer in hands, we do know that Pod was one of them. And also looks like Swamp Palace was actually the other pendant in hand thanks to one of our trackers. And Humbug is looking to head into Thieves' Town right now.
That is an early game, low hearts play. You do this if you're really confident in your execution. Someone like me who's not nearly so confident in their execution puts this off.
And this is also really important, really nice for them too. There's the King's Tomb check, and that was just 10 arrows. From the first chest that Humbug got, there was already the first item, and that was the magic boomerang.
Then Humbug picked up the small key in Thieves' Town in one of those first couple of checks. So there is going to be something tucked away behind the hammer. We'll have to pay attention and see if that's just going to be one of the dungeon items.
We got our back of escape play from Edium, and just a heart piece of note there. We do also know about the map that was in the back of escape along with the small key. Scarlet is going to do mini Moldarm Cave, and She's going to grab that full magic that was dropped by the mini Moldorms. And now CJ is going to get the information about the hammer on Lumberjack Ledge.
And he knows he already has one piece to the puzzle, but we're still looking for swords here 7 minutes in.
And we did find our other pair of boots. That was the green 20 signaling. That was the other pair of boots that the seed gives out just in replacement to the boots.
That is simply an item that replaces the boots in the pool since the boots start on your feet. It has nothing to do with the logic of where the boots otherwise would have been.
Correct. And Edium, and we did see Scarlet did this before, we did also find a shovel. And that was on the dam. Scarlet now heading over to Ice Rod Cave, and it's just a heart piece.
Walking back out, we're probably going to get a water walk state set up there by dashing across the edge of the pit.
And CJ finds the Ether Medallion on the graveyard ledge.
It's always nice to pick up your medallions early. That way, if you've got at least 2 or maybe all 3, you don't have to worry anymore about, do I have what's required to get into those required crystal dungeons?
And previously, I think we've seen this before, but we did see the Dig Cave play from over on Humbug's side, just 10 arrows, and from what I've heard, Idiom may have picked up the Sanctuary Hearts within the mini Moldorm Cave. It's the only heart piece in the game, the only art container in the game that does fill you up all the way.
In other cases, that's tied to collecting the pendant for crystal, but because the devs wanted you to have a health refill after you cleared the escape, that particular heart has the refill attached to it.
That is 100% true, and Humbug is now going to head over to the blacksmith's, going to start up that smith chain, and we get a single rupee.
It's nice at least to have the mirror in this case. Mirrorless smiths is certainly one of the less fun checks in the game. Routing it in is not the easiest thing, and if something is on it, you either feel really ahead if you happened to do it early for some reason, or you feel way behind.
Scarlet picking up the Cane of Burna from off of the Waterfall of Wishing. Gonna look at what is on the Zora ledge. Does not have money. Oh, hello. We found a hook shot. That was on K45. For on Humbug's side.
Tough to complain about that. You can get up to the mountain already if you know how to navigate in the dark a little bit, and that'll let you clear out not only most of the light, but also most of the dark world up there.
And looks like Humbug is going to do the purple chest oversight, as I personally call it an oversight, but this is the trick where you could, if you mirror right in front of the guard, the one key locksmith, and you'll actually get the item even though you don't have the purple chest with you.
The way I understand it is that it has something to do with the mirror transition taking precedence over the game checking whether or not you still have the chest behind you, and it just thinks you do until it remembers to check that you don't.
If I remember correctly, it actually has to do with a flag not being cleared within that mirror transition. There's about, I think, a few frames where the flag doesn't get cleared. That's from what I remember, though.
The game is not the greatest at doing more than one thing at one time, so that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much the basis for most of these tricks here. We're getting a hype key check from Humbug, and we do also get a bunny, or not. We get another potion. Jeez, that was a fairy in a bottle from off of Zora, and we did see a sword from out of Hype Cave. And just the only thing of note there with just that one sword.
That's a pretty major thing. It allows you to dash around a little more consistently. Now you just have to worry about not bonking as opposed to not bonking and not running into enemies.
Okay, this is a play that is actually, I think, is really nice to get out of the way. Since you already have... Okay, never mind. I thought they had the flippers for a second. But I was gonna say, though, if they had the flippers, they would have checked out First Chest Swamp while they were there. But in this case, they still were looking for flippers, and Humbug is just going to route in the Light and Dark World's South Shore checks.
It's a reasonable play. It will hopefully save him a little time over people who've routed them separately. Meanwhile, it looks like we've got Edium heading into the middle of Skull Woods.
Yeah, this is a Skull Woods play, and this is a pendant Skull Woods.
There are still 2 items up for grabs, and if you find something you like, or you find both of them, you can dip right on out.
Yep, and now Scarlet is going to head over to the uncle. She's going to get us a fire rod.
Certainly not going to complain about getting a little firepower, especially since she hasn't gone to Hype Cave and picked up that first sword yet. It looks like she's going to go ahead and carry through with that into the front of the escape sequence.
Yeah, she has a bow, although she doesn't have any arrows, but she does have a fire rod. But doesn't have a lot of magic to work with. But if she can hold her magic well, she's able to take care of pretty much the 3 necessary guards that are on the way. And over to the ball and chain guard, you can just slash away. Oh, hello, we got a flute.
Yeah, the only magic she had was from those 2 jars in the Uncle Tunnel, so that's 2 shots with the fire rod, but she also has 6 bombs backing them up, and even if you're not terribly conversant with bomb escape, she also has the boomerang to fall back on, so you could stun them and lay the bomb right on top.
Yep, and that's a really nice thing that she has at her disposal, and she's going to opt to go for the bomb strats here just to save more magic. Which I think is the correct play. That way you can use your last fire rod shots on this guard. And then you can just throw pots at the ball and chain guard. And looks like the bumper ledge just didn't really have anything of note. Instead, Humbug also... I believe there wasn't anything on the Hylia Island. I didn't see what it was, though.
I did not catch that check either, unfortunately.
We do have Arcana Burna pickup from Humbug, and it looks like CJ is going to look at the Bombos tablet. It's just a heart container. And a piece of heart to pretty much put the escape sequence to bed there.
Well, the flute alone makes that a valuable play on Scarlet's side.
Very much so, and we did get confirmation from our chat members that bombs were on Lake Hylia Island.
Little creative use of the cape there by CJ, caping by the 2 bomb-dropping, flying Paragoomba-looking things, whose actual name in the game I don't know.
CJ is going to go and get the sword from off Hype Cave. They're called Zeros. Z-I-R-O-O. R-R-O.
Interesting. A little knowledge drop for everybody here on SG3 today.
Scarlet now going to activate her flute. Going to come bring that online.
Scarlet appears from the tracker not to have picked up any of the medallions yet. I wonder if the quick play here would be to drop over into the mire area, check the medallion. There are 3 checks there she could make, and with the mirror could also mirror over into desert from the left-hand side.
I mean, this is fair. I believe, I don't have my tracker up, but we can in fact clear this one out, even though Scarlet does not have any magic to her name. And it is Ether, required for Misery Mire. So that Graveyard Ledge play is going to be very much necessary. And there's another sword waiting for her within the Mire Shed.
Being her first sword of the match, she's certainly not going to turn it down. It gives her at least a little offensive firepower, but without the magic or the Ether Medallion, she's going to be pretty limited in what she can do here.
Yeah, we do, because we do need that magic to light up the torches within that back of the back of desert.
Well, there are some small magic jars in some of the pots in the front of desert, so realistically, you've got the fire rod. If you have the game knowledge of where those small magic jars are, you ought to be able to get by.
We did see Blue Mail from over on Scarlet's side, and Edium looking to do the arrow game. This is something you don't normally see within Open. You typically see this within Inverted, but seeing that Edium doesn't have a whole lot of money to work with, it's going to actually earn a bit more money here from this game here. A bit more money to work with. Just every time you get consecutive arrow shots in a row, you double up that money. Get all 5 of them, you can get a maximum of 64 that's just picked up, and I don't remember the exact amounts that you can actually totally get.
Yeah, I don't recall the overall number, but if you can land all 5 arrows on the same target, the last 1 or 2 shots are worth 99.
Very interesting. And it looks like Scarlet is going to make the play over to Desert without any magic in hand.
So we'll see fairly quickly if it's going to be a matter... Yep, it's going to be a matter of game knowledge. There's one of those small magic jars under a pot. It seems entirely likely that she's going to go ahead and clear the whole thing.
And this is fair. I like this idea from Scarlet here. And there is 20 rupees from off of the big chest.
Yep, she's going to take that 1 magic jar that she got. There is 1 more magic jar in the room with the 4 torches you have to light. So while she's going to be going through the remainder of this on the sword and whatever other non-magical means she has, she's picked up some arrows so she could employ the bow if she were so inclined. She'll be saving the magic she has and getting 1 more fire rod shot from all the way in the back here.
Okay, I did the math. It is 124 maximum per cycle, if you're able to hit all 5 of them. Alright, yeah, this is definitely going to be the play over to that Lambolus. We did see a full magic pickup from Scarlet.
And there's the small magic jar in the room that I was talking about, getting back up to what looks like 7 fire rod shots.
Should be plenty for this fight. If not, then she can always, of course, resort to sword strats. Humbug has now activated the flute.
Looks like we're getting a little NMG style action from Scarlet there, breaking out the bow at the very end.
It makes sense. Another backup strategy there, and Edium getting the hook shot from off of K45. And looks like Humbug is going to make the play up towards the mountain. And there's our final Medallion. There's Quake on Lamolus. And with that, first blood has been drawn by Scarlet at around the 22-minute mark.
Still a long way to go, but it always feels good to knock out that first crystal dungeon.
So the best thing about the fact that we have all the knowledge of all three medallions is that we don't have to worry about whether or not we can or cannot get into Turtle Rock now.
Well, for both Mire and Turtle Rock, you're still going to be on the lookout for the Cane of Samari. It is required to clear both dungeons. But at least you will be able to get in the case of Mire.
That it is. So with that being said, Humbug now... There was the old man pickup, and there wasn't really anything of note. There's a shield on top of Spec Rock, and then there's also 3 bombs inside Spec Rock.
Not paying out so far, but everything up here that he's checked so far is in logic, aside from the old man in the dark, who didn't really have anything of note.
Yeah, the flute is our logical access up to the mountain here, save for, again, the old man. Ether Tablet check is just couch cash, so book will not be necessary for this seed.
Well, it's a little light reading while you're stuck down in the Hera coffee break room, maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's because you have nothing else to do while you're waiting for the all the tiles to finally get destroyed. There's the big key from off of Hera. We might see some Herapod action from Humbug.
It's entirely possible. With the boot start and the hookshot in hand, he has not one but 2 different ways to set it up.
And there's our first item of 2, which is 50 rupees, and look like he's going for the spin speed strats for this Herapot. It is a little finicky because of the speed that he needs, but does manage to pull it off.
It's a nice and quickly executed clip right into the pot. You tap left to make sure that you're aligned properly, and then push up right on in.
There's a compass within the big chest of Hera, and we actually are now looking at a 50-50 here right now, with that key being in that second chest, within the petting zoo, as it's called. Or at least that's what it is called in the practice hack. I think that's the actual name of that room. CJ is looking to commit into doing Dark Aga.
That's not a play that I would want to be making personally, especially on the amount of magic that he has, but I suppose employing the bow here is going to take care of these ball and chain guards pretty quickly. And
I did notice Humbug did take a fall onto Moldarm, and this Moldarm is not playing nice right now, and we're going to deal with some NMG strats here. Just 6 hits, I believe, in order to get this Moldarm down.
5 will get him into the speedy phase, and then 1 more will finish him off. Sometimes he'll cooperate and let you dash through him, just like Humbug just did there, and sometimes he'll just go hide in the corner and you have to wait until he comes out to you.
And we don't have to worry about the Hera basement, because that is the second item. Now, what CJ is doing is out of logic. Logically, you need the lamp, because the reason why it's not in logic is because the fire rod, yes, while it can light up torch boxes, and it is also, depending on the big key situation within Eastern Palace, it may be in logic. In Aga Tower, there's not enough torch boxes to make this whole thing in logic. So, but thankfully, the rooms where they have torch boxes are the ones that are kind of difficult. So, CJ making use of the fire rods for those particular situations, it's going to be pretty happy to get through this part without any need of a fire rod or whatever, or a lamp
And I saw while he had his menu open that he does have a backup red potion just in case he happens to get into trouble.
And there's, speaking of our fire sources, there's our lamp. So what CJ is doing is a moot point, but then again, we already know that what we're doing, what CJ's doing is out of logic.
Yep, we knew we were going to find the lamp somewhere, and Humbug has showed us exactly where it is.
And it looks like Edium might be committing to this playing now. That, or, of course, we do know that the Edium has not went over to this drop-down yet, and also, of course, hadn't done it. The whole excursion up to the castle, so we do have the fire rod for Edium.
It's nice if he does want to make this his play into Aga Tower, only because he's combined it with all of these other checks. He's making only one trip up here in that case.
And the Super Bunny Cave just has 2 pairs of pieces of heart. Or a pair of pieces of heart, rather. Not 2. That would be 4.
Well, if he wants to make 4 more checks, he does have Hookshot Cave right there after we find out that Bombos is the required medallion to enter Turtle Rock.
And CJ does take a fall, and is just gonna keep going. Or just save and quit. I mean, that's fair. I wouldn't be doing this if this is more of a bold play than anything. So CJ is gonna get out. But we are seeing the hookshot cave for Humbug, and comes up big with an ice rod.
Another part of the here go do Turtle Rock care package, but we'll see if anything else turns up. We know he's not going to find the Bombos medallion here, and is also not going to find the Cane of Samaria.
Although take note of the bottom left corner of the screen here, we see Scarlet committing to this Pendant Thieves down play.
That's kind of rough. We know that she checked Lumberjack early. She knows that the hammer is sitting there and that she is going to be leaving something behind in that chest. And with the map still out there in one of these checks, we're going to see right now, here in the next probably 30 seconds, whether or not Blind is going to hand us the final item, or if we're going to be orphaning a check.
Oh, I completely misread the tracker. It is a crystal, not a pendant. I misread Skull Woods as like a crystal and Thieves Town as a pendant for some reason. Anyway, we're on the blind fight now.
Blind will react to what you do in this fight. If you do the same things every time, Blind will do the same things every time. And all you have to do is find a pattern you're comfortable with, and you can put in all 9 hits with whatever sword or hammer or Cane of Samaria or burner that you have, just like Scarlet's done there, and take no damage at all.
And we do see that there is an item on the Thieves Town big chest. Oof. But we do have our second crystal for Scarlet. And to answer a question in chat, the lamp was on Paradox Cave.
It looks like Humbug's going to go ahead and commit to the tower play now. Of course, having been to Paradox Cave, he's picked up that lamp and should have a substantially easier time than CJ did. Looks like Edium's heading over to activate his flute. After he does that, of course, he'll have the mire area open to him, or he can use that to go logically up the mountain. We'll see if he avails himself of either of those, or if he's going to try and commit to Dark Aga.
Just giving him a bit of a mic check really quick, just to tweak my volume here. Yeah, this is all important here because we did see course, Humbug committed to that play up the mountain and came up with the necessary lamp for this play to be in logic.
Edium gets the news that he has the required medallion to enter Mire. We'll see if maybe he dips in while he's here. He also gets his second level sword out of the Mire Shack.
Alright, so Humbug is now going up to that Aga fight because remember we do have a hammer here. So Aga can fire between 0 and 15 blue balls. If you want to get your guesses in the chat on how many blue balls he may fire, just do so now. I'm going to stick with 3 because that is the average amount of blue balls that Aga can fire.
It is the average. It always feels like it's more anytime it's important, though.
So here comes the Aga fight. The pattern usually goes that the first attack that Aga fires will always be a red ball. From attacks 2 through 4 rather, is going to be either a red ball or a blue ball. And the 5th one will always be a lightning attack, and it will continue until you get 6 red balls into Aga. 6 red balls, just make sure I said that right.
So 6 of the charged up shots, anyway.
Yeah,
whatever color you want to call them.
Yeah, whatever you want to call them. But we're seeing... Okay, we now have a blue ball. It was looking to be a 0 blue ball, but Aga had different plans. And gonna put in 1 blue ball.
That's certainly not bad. Humbug will get his full refill of health and magic there, and probably give us a pyramid ledge check. Which is money.
And it looks like the closest one to 1 was Fight Cap 66 Act 2.
It looks like Humbug is going to pass on going and visiting the catfish and has instead hookshot across over into the western portion of Dark World.
And this will be good news for Humbug because he will be getting that Ether Medallion, which is necessary for the seed.
It seems like it's a reasonable way to kind of consolidate these checks that he's making. He'll be able to check King's Tomb, which he's done. He'll get his Ether Medallion out of the Graveyard Ledge. I'm reasonably certain he checked Bonk Rocks early, but he's going to be able to carry on right over to Lumberjack and pick up his hammer.
So there's the Ether Medallion for Humbug. And now we're going to see, for more likely than not, going to see Humbug, especially if he's coming over from the east side over to the west side, go and get that hammer that he rightfully earned within by defeating Aga. And it looks like Edium is committing to the play for just doing Dark Aga. We did see CJ previously attempt to do this, but came up, ended up taking a death within just the dark portions of the Aga Tower. So it looks like CJ may be attempting to do this again.
Going in with the Fire Rod and full magic, and I don't think that CJ had the Master Sword at the time, which Edium does. Having sword beams is also it's also a nice thing to have in here, more so than pretty much anywhere else in the game.
And with that, we do now have the hammer for Humbug. So at this point, logically you would need the flippers, but more importantly, we do need that Cane of Samaria But for Humbug's case, he needs the Bombos, and pretty much everyone except for CJ needs that Bombos medallion. But Scarlet being the one other case where she's looking to find Ether, which we know it was on the Graveyard Ledge.
We'll see how it goes, but that may be CJ's early play over to Sahasrahla paying off for him. Hey, you can't imagine that people are going to orphan that forever. It's a reasonably dense check, and once you get over into the area for Pod, you're going to want to do it anyway, especially with the mirror in hand. But for now, it's an advantage that he does have on his side.
You are correct in this case because CJ did this at the very beginning of the game by doing the Sahasrahla strat that was popularized by the Speed Gaming Live qualifiers.
Unless I've gotten lost in where he is in the climb, I believe that Edium has cleared all of those dark rooms already. That went by in a flash.
Yeah, this was a very well executed Dark Agate for Edium. Scarlet looking to do the Hera Pots, doing a different setup from what Humbug did previously, where Humbug did a super speed trick, while Scarlet is opting to go for this setup where you don't even need to use the boots for the situation, and does pull it off.
There are a number of different layouts where you can lay that bomb and set yourself and make that work. You just have to learn one that works for you and stick with it. Once you do that, it's turned out, at least in my experience, to be a relatively easy trick to pull off consistently.
One of my favorite setups is the setup where you would put up you line up against the bottom tile, the bottom peg, and then you set yourself up in a position, and then set down a bomb, and then just by using your menu to buffer to a specific point on the screen, that being the visual cue being where the menu and one of the outlines of the chest sits flush with each other. That's when I know I have the Hera Pot set up.
Rather than the chest, I know the setup you're talking about. I use the shadow. There should be one light pixel to the left of the shadow of the tile in the middle of the pot, I believe it is. I'm not staring at it right at the second, so I may be misremembering the exact cue, but did you know, for that setup, if you have the boots, you can bonk that lowermost peg and be in exactly the right position to lay your bomb.
And that is true, but there is some caveats with that. If you move like 2 pixels in a certain direction, your setup gets messed up and you won't be able to clip in. Same thing if you were to pick up a drop from an enemy in midair. That also screws up with the setup for the Hera Pot. It also does screw up the setup for the Hammer Yum, but I've had that happen a couple of times before.
Yeah, that has to do with those same ancilla values that we use to set up things like Spooky Mire. Some of those enemy drops while they're in the air have an altitude value that goes in that same spot and messes up the tricks all the same.
And it looks like Edium is committing to this catfish play. And it's just 20 rupees.
It seems like probably the most reasonable chance that he was going to get to make that check. That now he's used his flute and he can go over and dash into the lumberjack tree and pick up his hammer.
And CJ will do this. CJ is able to do the same thing. Edium will do the same thing right now.
I see in chat we have Super Malmo world, giving us a whole bunch more information and knowledge on setting up Harapot and the problems with the Ancilla, and the fairy, yeah, will always ruin that every single time because it is never going to lower its altitude value. It's just going to fly around.
In my experiences with it, I've never seen it. I've never seen the fairy screw up the hammer jump. That's from my experience, but I don't know if that actually does apply for the same thing, or it's just mainly just a Harapot exclusive thing.
That's one I'll have to admit that I do not know the answer to.
But Scarlet does now have the information that she needs that Bombo's medallion from off of Sahasra's hut. In order to get over to that over to Turtle Rock and open it up. Of course, we can't get into it just yet because we don't have our key.
Yeah, but being up here on the mountain, she's gotten her lamp now. She's picked up her ice rod. She knows she made the lumberjack check early on in the game, that the hammer is there, that everything is in place for her to go pick that up now, I think. But meanwhile, with Edium in Thieves Town here, having already picked up his hammer, he'll probably wind up showing us what's in that chest that had to be skipped earlier on both Humbug and Scarlet's side, I believe.
So Edium is now in Thieves Town. The one thing that Edium has over Scarlet, and I believe also Humbug, is like, yeah, I think you just mentioned this. They have the hammer.
And actually, looking at it, I think that CJ is going to get there first, unless he suffers a mischief down here in the basement of Thieves Town.
With Hearts being in if Hearts. Okay, it looks like from what I've told, these Zyzacs are actually part of what I consider the OP pack, where there's a heart, then a fairy, and then a full magic refill.
They're part of the high value pack. That's always nice to find.
Yeah, I just call it the OP pack because it's super OP, and Scarlet can breathe a sigh of relief. Hopefully, if it's just in the last location, it's just 20 rupees.
It'll still be on the mind of people who haven't checked it if we get into a late game case where they're still trying to track down, say, that came to Samaria. It's definitely not a check that you want to have to come back for, though. It is one of the more time-consuming ones.
It is a very time-consuming one because you have to go through the first part of Thieves Town, then go through that hallway, and then through those two single-screen rooms, and then over to the Hellway, hit the switch, and just, get out of there, and then just make their way over to the that big chest in due time.
Looks like both Jay, who completed his fight, and Edium, who has just now completed his fight, got a little off script, but nothing they couldn't recover.
As long as you get those 6 hits to start off, it should be okay regardless.
And Scarlet, as expected, after the play up the mountain finding the lamp, is making her Aga Tower climb.
So we're getting a bit of retrace of everyone else's footsteps, and this should actually be a good time to mention about our Speed Gaming Live event. And it's going to be happening from November 7th to the 15th. It will be happening online, and we have a number of different tournaments happening We have the main tournaments here, being Link to the Past Randomizer, Ocarina of Time Randomizer, and I believe we also have Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer as one of our main ones. And we also have some side tournaments going on with SMZ 3 being one of them, Mario Maker 2 being one of them, Area of Sorrow Randomizer. Yeesh. As just a handful of different ones that are representing SG Live. And we also have a marathon happening as well in tandem with the main tournaments, so definitely want to stick around for that with the Speed Gaming family of networks in order to keep your eyes peeled for that. And look at this. Humbug is going to get that Bombos medallion.
Along with the cape and the bottle of red goo, he's doing this via the mirror while heading over to Pod, just as expected.
It's the one time Humbug will be doing that that play anyway, and the only other time he would have wanted to go for that was if I'm right at the start of the game, which is what CJ did. And we're simultaneously getting opens of Pod.
I feel like I blinked and Scarlet finished that Aga Tower climb. That was incredibly quick.
And the fact that there was only one blue ball fired from Aga, it's a pretty much a blink if you miss and fight. And we are now going to start counting up those keys here. There can be a minimum of 4 keys within the first part of Pod. I believe the maximum is 5.
I believe you are correct. It is not bow-locked today since we got the small key in that first chest, and of course with the bow in hand, whether or not it was bow-locked Pod is completely immaterial to these runners.
Currently up to 2 keys. As Edium now is in Tower of Hera. Vanilla big key in the big key chest. And there's the Cane of Samaria for Humbug. And for all intents and purposes, Humbug is actually in go mode because the flippers logically you would need in order to get the Ice Palace, but we could always do a fake flipper to get over there.
Fake flipper is probably the first trick everybody learns. It is certainly one of the easier tricks to perform, and I can't imagine that Humbug is going to have any trouble employing it if he doesn't happen to stumble across the flippers while he's clearing out his other crystal dungeons.
Yeah, fake flipper is one of the very, like you just mentioned, the very first trick that you would ever learn when starting off your Link to the Past Randomizer career. It's the most simplest trick to learn, and it's very much well documented all over YouTube, or like all over different sources as well. It's the most basic of glitches before you start diving into the more exotic ones with the randomizer, like Hera pots, spooky action, and so on.
Unlike a lot of those which can require some inputs where if you're not seeing the inputs of the person making it, you might not pull it off properly, like, say, Diver Down. Fake flippers, if you see it on screen and you perform what you're seeing, it will work for you.
For sure. And now Humbug is going to make his way over to the back of Pod, while Edium is fighting off Moldorm.
He's choosing to perform a hammer Moldorm here rather than with Master Sword spins. Personally, that's my preferred way to go, simply because holding out the spin will put you in a state where you're not moving quite as quickly, and if Moldorm comes right for you and then kind of turns a little bit at the last minute, you can go right off the side of the ledge and you're starting to fight over.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Edium had happened to him. Got bullied by Moldorm.
And gets his revenge quite quickly.
That is Edium's 3rd crystal, as Humbug is fighting off the Helmus Arcane.
That has tied Edium very briefly for the crystal lead amongst our restreamed runners with 3. Humbug, of course, is going to pick up his 4th here in 2 or 3 seconds.
Yep, that is the 4th crystal for Humbug, and now we are definitely going to be seeing the routes being as follows. We're probably going to be going to Ice Palace, get that out of the way, especially with the fact that we are doing an Icebreaker with Arcana Samaria in hand. But then we're going up Fire and then go straight over to Turtle Rock. And then we'll be on our way to GT.
Yeah, in this case, blink and you're going to miss Ice Palace, folks. Except it looks like he's heading to the Mire area first.
I think this is a fair play.
Once you're in go mode, you just do the dungeons in an order you feel comfortable with. You have all of the items that you require to finish the game.
Of course, CJ is still missing out on that ice rod, so CJ will have to go up to the Dark Death Mountain in order to get that ice rod, and showing up Humbug going to do a bit of a throw of the bird there. That murder dactyl just gets vaporized by that water.
It's a race for fun. You can have a little fun, give the fans what they like to see.
Yeah, everyone likes a good bird toss.
Bird toss, bird carry, bird hammer. There are any number of things you can do. Of course, if Bombos is the required medallion, you have fried chicken on your way in.
Yeah, good old fried chicken.
Edium's making his Eastern Mountain checks in the Light World first, so now he has the lamp, which he obviously completely did not need to do the Dark Agate Tower climb. It will make his remaining couple of dark rooms a little easier. And he'll follow it up with Super Bunny Cave, and then probably a check of the Turtle Rock requirement for entry, and Hookshot Cave, and he'll get his Ice Rod. Of course, he's still missing that Bombos medallion from Sahasrahla.
And we did notice that Humbug found himself a Godmire. Because he didn't stand over to the back of Mire.
Tough to complain about that. It always seems like you get Godmire when you're still looking for items, and once you're in go mode, it never shows up. This is that rare case where it's all come together for him.
Definitely. And now Humbug is going to do some spooky action, because it looks like he did properly set this up.
He has not shot the crystal switch in the first room, because with a Godmire, he didn't have to hit it to check any of the chests on the left-hand side of the dungeon.
And that spooky action was performed by Humbug, and now Edium is now in, well, almost go mode. Just still needs to find that cane at a pod. And there's the flippers in pod again. This time in the Thieves' Town big chest. So there's our logical go mode.
A pod with its density is often the play, and in this case, both the actual go mode and the logical go mode were contained within.
And that was a very quick, vitreous fight for Humbug. That's the 5th crystal to his name.
Edium's going to go ahead and give us a Spike Cave check here.
Of course, we know that there won't be anything to hear. Edium doesn't know this, but it's just going to be 3 bombs for Edium.
Most of the outstanding items at this point lie in the realm of safeties. You could find the powder, which is really nice in both Mire, Turtle Rock, and GT. We know that he's not going to find the cape there, but maybe another bottle could have been there.
Now Humbug is going to sit up for that fake flipper. Needs to do some bit of sword buffers there, and there we go. We have our fake flippers.
One of my favorite ways to set that up if I'm not feeling great about my execution on the D-pad that particular day is to just bomb myself into the transition. It will not force you to transition, but it will put you that exact 1 pixel away that you need to be.
Yeah, and this actually is a really good way as well. I personally like to use sort buffers once I just make sure I'm at that 1 pixel in order to get over to set up that play for the good old fake flipper. I am very much just dragging the sport out, but CJ is doing the icebreaker, and there's EDM's Bombos. Scarlet also has entered go mode, and she's going to do her play over to ice first, and there's the icebreaker for CJ, and there's the silver arrows.
Tough to complain about taking a handful of steps over and finding something that will speed up phase 4 of your Ganon fight quite significantly.
Especially for CJ's case, because he is still on, I believe, Master Sword. Yeah, he is still on Master Sword.
And he also hasn't been up the mountain. He's lacking both the lamp and the ice rod, so still being 1 item away from actual go mode and the lamp, depending on his comfort level with the dark rooms in Mire and Turtle Rock, it makes a lot of sense for him to be checking these chests.
Very much so, and this is but of course in this case, we're seeing Humbug and Scarlet making simultaneous work over to their respective dungeon clears. Although Humbug is in fact within the lead here, the Scarlet just picked up her Can Samaria and has yet to do a Mire.
Humbug does have a significant advantage at the moment. There are obviously still things that could trip him up, but right now it would probably be safe for us to call it a lead.
Yeah, from the ones that the 2 that are in go mode, Scarlet has 2 extra hearts compared to Humbug, but they both are, for pretty much for the most part, on the same level of. Actually, no, I take that back. Scarlet never picked up the silver arrows. Humbug has them.
So it looks like Cold Stare got away from CJ just a little bit there, but he's pulled off the kill in the end.
Good work. And there's the key. We know that does mean that it is Samaria locked. Not like it matters though, because we did just use the Can of Samaria to do an icebreaker. And to answer a question in the chat, the Can of Samaria was in Palace of Darkness. And yes, that does mean that Humbug is now 1 dungeon away from going over the GT.
He'll pull out his flute straight to 1, and head right on up the mountain.
So this seed turned out to be very jet.
It's been very kind to the runners. They've found things pretty much where they needed them without having to go terribly far out of their way.
The only thing that was really kind of slow, really, was just that Alia fight with just that 1 blue ball. But even then, it was still relatively quick.
Of course, at this point, chat can warm up their conspiracies that all this means is that the randomizer is getting ready to give them the ultimate troll right at the end. Title room big game.
Yeah, the necessary offset evil. Or the necessary evil to offset what is normally a jet suit. And Scarlet also committing to the bird toss there. And as far as anything that was in the Waterfall Wishing, I don't believe we saw anything of Worf.
The Cane of Burna was in there.
The Cane of Burna, yes, that's what it was, the Burna. But that didn't lead to anything, because we did see a Spike K play from EDM, and turned out it was just bombs.
It's a handy safety to have in some cases, especially when you haven't found the cape. But all of our runners have the cape now, and in most cases you'd probably want to use that, since Burno will prevent you from performing sword spins.
Humbug now is going to open up Turtle Rock.
Now, what do you think? Is CJ putting off his mountain trip because he's hoping to just do it all in one go, including Turtle Rock? Because he still hasn't been up there, he's now committing to Misery Mire without the lamp.
My hunch is that he may be just putting this all off so that he can actually go ahead and get over to that mountain. I believe so because we haven't seen a play. We haven't seen him go up the mountain, I believe, at all. Or if he was up on the mountain, then he actually hasn't been up there for quite a while.
At this point, it almost feels like you'd have to call it a gamble. I haven't been up there for so long. If something was up there and I need it, I've lost the race because certainly somebody else has gone and checked it already.
Yeah, there was a lot of things to note about this particular mountain. We had our lamp, we had a sword in Spiral Cave, and of course we also have that good old ice rod, that's what it was, within the Hookshot Cave. And there's our mushroom. Humbug getting bullied by those chain chimes. They do a significant amount of damage.
That is one of the hardest rooms for me to navigate. It's one of the reasons why I always hope I have powder coming in here, because I can get those hearts back off of the couple of anti-fairies that are in the next room.
And that's why I consider that room to be one of the worst rooms in the entire game. Not to be confused with the Super Metroid room called the worst room of the game.
Scarlet is lifting her 6th crystal of the match, now just has Turtle Rock to do.
Yeah, we'll be joining up with Humbug in just a bit. Oh, we actually did see from our tracker, Maddie Walkherd, that there was actually half magic, and that was an Ice Palace. That's what CJ and Scarlet has.
That is certainly a handy safety. It'll let you use Fire Rod more liberally in the 4th phase of the Ganon fight if you're so inclined. It'll let you use your cape to get through, particularly the 2nd phase of the Ganon fight, much more easily. Edium there making quick work of Cold Stare with the Fire Rod.
To answer a question to chat, the Ice Rod was in Hookshot Cave. Okay, so we're now going up the mountain. CJ, yeah, okay, so this is something that CJ has never done. He never went up the mountain at all. So he's going to go into the old man to rescue him. And it makes you wonder, why exactly did he put it up for such a while?
That'll be something we'll have to ask him in the post-race interview if he deigns to give us one.
Over on Humbug's side, we are going to see our first sites of Trinex, and Adium also committing to that bird toss as well. It's just I believe 3 of 4. I may have missed CJ's.
I unfortunately missed it as well, but to mildly twist an old song lyric, 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
That is not bad at all. That is true. So now Humbug is on Trinex and takes him down. Nope, takes on the first 2 eyes. Oh, CJ hammered the bird. Okay, that explains it. Okay, so we're on to our second phase. Shouldn't be a big deal with our Tempered Sword in hand. And yeah, not a big deal at all. Down goes Trinex, so that will be Humbug's 7th and final crystal for Humbug. So let's go and start up this game here. There are 21 chests and a torch to make up a total of 22 possible item locations within Ganon's tower. One of them will have that big key. From 1 to 22, get your guesses in chat where you think the big key might be. Let's just hope that it doesn't get offset here and say it's Talroon. Let's just make this a lot quick. We'll say it's 3.
3's not a bad choice. I would say if we're going to Hope Room first, we find a small key. We'll find it in the top right-hand side of the compass room. Given the way people usually check those chests, we'll go ahead and call that, what, 5? Maybe 3, depending on how you walk in?
I believe so. But all guesses will close as soon as Humbug enters GT with that 21 chests of a torch. Separates Humbug from getting the big key and completing the seed. Here we go. I did see a 1 key for number 1, and it's frozen on my side, but there's that big key. That was actually number 2.
Alright, the seed is jet all the way down.
Yeah, straight down the middle.
All the way up the tower.
Yep, all the way down the tower, and that was Church of X getting number 2. Very, very quick. This was a straight up jet seed, like you had mentioned, and this is very, very quick. And we have our silver arrows, we have our tempered sword. We are pretty much set for life.
You've got the lamp just in case magic might otherwise become an issue on the Ganon fight. I don't see anything standing between Humbug and victory over Ganon here.
CJ does clear out Moldor from off the Tower of Hera. That will be CJ's 6th crystal. At the same time, Scarlet is heading over to, looks like he's going to head over straight into the laser bridge to get the 1 key. She will be pleasantly surprised to see that once she goes over to GT, that she will be, just going to go over to the Hope Room and get that small key, or that small key and the big key. Going to take the safety door because she is running low on hearts here.
For those who might need the extra health, if you mirror here, you can walk into the cave and down a set of stairs, and there is a couple of areas available. Obviously, Scarlet says no time for that, gotta go fast, it's a race.
Yeah, that is true here, and even if she takes a death here, she will get refilled.
Very nice series of laser skips there.
Yeah, that was very well executed for Scarlet, but she is going in with just that 1 heart. But actually, he's committing to do a fake powder to get set up for a refill here. Because she does have her cane, she does have her mushroom.
That is one of the more interesting glitches that's available with the Cane of Samaria. Of course, it's a lot easier to perform on a stationary statue that's not trying to actively kill you. But she has managed to pull it off and has powdered one anti-fairy.
Very well executed for Scarlet. To answer a question to chat, I believe there was an armor on, I believe, the desert ledge. Yeah, because this, yeah, he does have it on hand. Pretty much everyone got that mail pretty like during that time when they were in, I believe, desert. Yeah, that was the desert ledge, and very, very quickly, Link, miss it, I believe, hopefully.
Humbug has absolutely flown up this tower.
Yeah, if this seed being a jet seed, this is like very quick. And Humbug says he's got no time to check out any Moldarm 2 chests. He's just gonna go fast. Aga 2.
Aga 2 is easier in a lot of ways than Aga 1 because you're going to get 2 guaranteed reflectable shots every cycle.
Very much so, and this is very nice. I believe, I'm looking at my backlog, I'm seeing that there was 3... I think it was a 3 or triple, maybe a double. Can't really tell from these. But that was definitely not a double there. But actually, yeah, this was looks like that was a double. Looks like that was 2 1 1 2.
From the hit sound effect, that's what it sounded like.
Okay, because that overlap does. Whenever there's an overlap of those blue balls, it usually means that, well, you're going to have at least one attack and not double. On to that cannon fight now.
Maximizing his hits there with that spin as the trident comes out.
Yep, the trident spin, as it's called, just lets you able to get the first cycle. They'll do one cycle of phase 1.
And now the part where you just have to hope that Ganon will stop warping around and let you put the sword on him.
And those warps could possibly wreak havoc on your time, but of course, it doesn't have to worry about. Hopefully, it doesn't have to worry about it.
Thankfully, those are seeded for the first encounter with Ganon in the randomizer. Everyone else is going to have to suffer through the exact same thing.
We're on phase 4 right now. I heard the menu sound, and that means we do have our silver arrows saying, "Oh no, my silver might one true weakness," and we're going to pretty much put an end to this. Oh, that's a fall. I believe he may have either taken an accidental hit or may have fallen off, like by accident. Okay, looks like this was intentional. He doesn't have enough magic because he missed Torch Glitch.
That is unfortunate. We'll have to see, or hopefully hear in this case, what he does to rectify that situation.
I'm looking at the backlog here. So with that being said, we are going to go and stock up on potions, of course. I heard potion sounds. Backlog does confirm this. So it's now back up the mountain we go, or back up the pyramid we go, and to restart the fight. Now, as you mentioned, the first time you enter Ganon, it is seated. But after the second phase, after you take a fall or death, there won't have that luxury of being seated at all. You just gotta suffer through a series of randomized paths.
That is the unfortunate downside to having to dip out of the first version of the fight. Now, given all of the warps that we got in the first version of the fight, it's entirely possible this one will go better.
Yeah, especially in this case here, because we do have... We did mention that we did get blue potions, with the backlog confirming this. Onto phase 3. On my backlog, Eddie is going into GT. Humbug, be careful here because he is low on hearts, but is now in phase 4. Should probably be able to get this through relatively quickly. But does take a hit. Oh, that hurts. And with no magic to, or no fairies to work with, gotta redo this fight.
That's tough.
From our backlog.
You have to wonder about the mindset at that point. You've already had to dip out of the fight once because you ran out of magic. Now you had the potion in hand and you took a fire bat to the face. How are you feeling going into the third one?
You're feeling behind. It's either close or behind. If you're feeling like, if in that situation, you see that you are about to... You're seeing that at this point. If this was a 1v1, and you play this out super strong, taking 2 deaths, or taking 2 falls to the Ganon fight, or whatever, either or it could be both. In the case of what Humbug did, you either feel close or behind. One of those two. But seeing that this is a daily race, it really just comes down to whether or not like you are finishing first or not. We're on phase 4 now.
We'd say that all he has to do is clean it up, but unfortunately he's already had 2 attempts not go quite so well, so we'll have to hold on and hope for a moment.
But that will do it, though. The pig has been slain. Get your GGs in the chat for Humbug, and he will be finishing off first in our restream. Got across the 1x3 bridge, and we'll be finishing first on our restream with an official race time.gt time of 1:20.50, and that'll be good enough for 3rd place overall, with Bonta taking the overall win with a time of 1:14.02, and Shire with a time of 1:18.13 is good enough for 2nd place. Scarlet now onto that Ganon fight, and we are joined by Humbug. If you want to hold on for a second, we are seeing a Ganon fight from our perspective. So CJ is going to start up the climb up towards GT, while Scarlet is now in phase 4. Go on to get the information. That's the silver arrows were in Ice Palace. Within the chest, after doing a icebreaker, and that was the big key chest.
That is, in fact, the vanilla big key chest.
CJ gets the big key from Auto Hope Room. Edium also doing a fake powder to get those refills. Nicely done.
It's been a popular trick this afternoon.
Especially considering that we don't have a powder to make that more of a not so magic hungry trick to do. Edium also saying that he doesn't have time to check any Moldarm 2 chassis. It's going to be flying out of the gate here.
Well, when you have everything that you need to beat the game, about the only thing that you can find in there that's going to help you at this late stage would be either the other mail upgrade or a potion. The chances of one of those two things showing up in any one check, not terribly good.
Very much so. Edium on the Aga 2 fights. Scarlet looks like she needs a bit more spins to take down the Ganon fight. She does have her torch glitch.
A lot of it's about getting into a good rhythm and releasing your spin at the right time to propel you up towards the next point you want to be at. And it looks like she's got a triple for her last 3 hits and should be crossing this bridge here shortly, barring any last-second shenanigans.
Yep, GG's in the chat for Scarlet. And she will be finishing second on our restream. And it looks like that'll be official race time.gg time of 1:23.58 in 4th place overall. Same time, Edium's dropping down into his game fight.
He did not skip the silvers, so he'll have a little quicker time here in Phase 4, but it's not going to save him from the wrath of Scarlet, who managed to put all 12 of those Phase 4 spins into Ganon well in advance of him. Meanwhile, it looks like we've got CJ in the midst of his climb of the tower.
Yeah, from our backlog, that does confirm this.
Hearing some warpings and rumblings, we would call Phase 3 for Edium here.
Yeah, it looks like now Edium's now onto Phase 4, and now we're here with Scarlet. GG's to you. Hopefully, just once we get her on, she's a bit of technical issues, but we will have her in pretty soon. And Edium knocks down Ganon. GG's in the chat for Edium. Edium will be finishing third on our restream with a time of 1:26.12, official race time.gg time, in 5th place overall. Back-to-back finishes for both of our featured runners.
Still an entirely respectable time, under an hour and 30 minutes.
It always feels nice to get that sub 130 at any stretch of the imagination there. So, all we're now seeing is CJ. Ooh, from my backlog, I saw that did knock down, got knocked down by our Moldorm.
Moldorm never wanted to cooperate. You have to impose your will, and sometimes he just is not going to let you do it.
Alright, we have Eddie on board. And again, we also have Humbug and Scarlet on our call right now. GG's to all of you.
Thank you.
GG's.
GG's. So, Humbug, run us through that Ganon fight.
Please, no, not again. Not a fourth time. Can we not?
Yeah, we did.
No,
we
yeah.
did notice. Yeah, we did notice that from what happened was that you did run out of magic. Had to take a fall here just to get some magic. Then the fire bat shot you in the back. Never fun.
Yeah. Well, the magic thing was weird because I tried to use the cape to be faster, but then when I was trying to grab the wall to the south, somehow I did not grab the wall, so the magic just kept on draining. And then I got a bit risky, I felt like, trying to get a double in on the first hit on Ganon, but then I missed a torch glitch, and then I didn't have enough for one fire rod shot and one lamp shot or whatever. So yeah, that was that. But the bat on the second try, that was all me.
Okay, that explains it. So, but outside of that, what do you think about this pretty much jet seed?
Outside of that, I'm really happy. Well, my execution was a bit meh, but my routing worked out very, very nicely, especially with that ether medallion. And I felt like I routed in those North Dark World checks pretty nicely after Aghanim.
Yeah, I should mention too that CJ was the only player to go over to the Sajrella hut and was the first one, as a result, to get the Bombos medallion. So it took quite a while until you eventually got up into Pod in order to get that Bombos, and then that led pretty nicely into the King of Samaria being picked up as a result of that.
So I'm kind of curious where I fell behind, because I thought my routing worked out pretty well, but it turns out I was just 12 minutes behind the winner. Like,
trying to know that too.
What?
I was trying to know that too. Seems like I was pretty confident that it would be just execution that I would be behind, but like 10 minutes behind of execution, it's kind of harsh, you know.
Yeah. No,
I mean, I had King of Samaria as my go mode item, and that was in the front of Pod.
Well, so did I.
Everyone had. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I never touched any pendant. Oh, I did do the front of Skull Woods. Other than that, I never touched any pendants.
Same.
I got the hammer before the lamp. Yeah, kind of. I'll have to watch this VOD back because
you got Cape as your Agate Tower access then?
No, I had Master Sword.
From where?
Dope.
Because my Master Sword was in Spiral Cave.
Yeah.
Oh, you could have gone to Mario Shed, of course. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, the ones that we found there was a Mire Shed one, and then there was also a Spiral Cave one, and I forget what was the other one. It was Hype Cave. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right, Hype Cave. Yeah, that early game routing, that was so friendly. Having Mitts and Mirror out of CAC, I just beeline to Dark World immediately to grab all of those. That was super nice. So I got hook shot super early.
Yeah,
I checked Link's house at 17 minutes.
I stayed in the light world a bit longer. I did South Shore and Zord checks and stuff before I went to the dark world.
I was trying to find a weapon before going to Dark World, since like we had our Dark World access in 8 minutes, 7 minutes. I was like, no. I can't do that. I'm not that good.
That was a bit scary, but there was. I got a boomerang in the front of Thieves Town, which helped with safety a bit. But yeah, it was scary, but just it was super worth it.
Oh, I also did you Uncle route and get that fire rod early?
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah,
Ew.
I dipped desert before I found a fire source, so I guess I lost a little time there.
If I may interject here, we did see that CJ has finally finished off Ganon. He has finished with an official race time by GG time of 1:32.22. Will be the last one on our race stream to finish. The overall result was 7th place. Just before that, it was Sonicam, 6th of a time of 1:29.49. So, yeah, this was pretty much a jet seed. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, it wasn't super jet, but it was pretty quick for an Aga seed.
Yeah, pretty much very quick to pretty much just to say it lightly. And there's CJ in our hello call. GG's to you.
GG.
Yeah, so I was noticing this as the interview was going on. There was 2 deaths in Ganon that happened. Just run us through that one.
What?
Oh, no, oh. No, I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say about this.
Yeah, I died in Aga Tower. That was fun.
Yeah, that was one of those deaths there because you tried to do the Dark Aga, didn't work out so well. Had to dip out as a result.
Worked out fine if I realized. So I thought my fire rod shot had 2 shots, but it was like just shy of that. So that guard room, if I had realized I only had 1 shot, I would have saved my fire rod shot for then. And I just died there. So, and then I really didn't want to go on the mountain. I was being stubborn. I did the whole world. The only thing I go moded was like Mire. So when I finally went up to the mountain and it just had my ice rod, I mean, I got 1 mountain trip, which is neat.
Yeah, this was like the biggest question that was on our minds too, is exactly why you haven't done the mountain for quite a while until that very end, and that was pretty much explains it. Like, you were actually the first runner to get the Bombos Medallion right out of the gate because of the Sahasrara start that you did, while everyone else was at the Sanctuary.
Oh, I mean, I could have gone to the mountain at any time, but especially once I got the Red Cane and Pod, like, I knew Ice Rod was probably up on the mountain, so I just did everything else first. I mean, at a certain point, it just turned into a meme route, where I just put off the mountain forever, hoping to never, to be able to say afterwards that I did the whole seed without touching the mountain. But
where were the flippers at?
Pod big.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in Pod, of course.
I mean,
Yeah.
not that I needed them, or not that we needed them to beat this seed, but that's where they were.
Oh.
Yeah,
I would have
because-
liked swords. Swords would have been fun.
Yeah, there was one in Hype Cave, there was one in Spiral Cave, and then there was one on the Mire Shed. That's the one we know. The 4th one we don't know.
Oh, I must have not done Spiral Cave. Oops.
Yeah, that was the one thing that you would have done, because that was mainly because of you putting off Mountain for quite a while.
I did Spike Cave though.
I mean, yeah, that was too, and Eddie was actually one of the first ones to do Spike Cave.
Yeah, by the end of it, I was just joking around with, like, after the Aga death, I knew that, like, the seed was, I wasn't gonna finish in first or in the top or anything like that. So the rest of it was mostly just me joking around with people in my chat and meme routing and hoping to not touch the mountain. Unfortunately, had to eventually find my ice rod.
Yeah, but as a result, I mean, you still came up with a respectable time of 1:32:31 for a pretty much jet seed, but almost jet seed, but pretty good time for an Aga seed.
Yeah, if I had found a sword, I could have gotten a sub 130, which would have been nice for, an agate death sub 130, but I'll take it. I didn't play great.
With that being said, though, if you guys got any final thoughts about this seed, please do sound it off.
No, just thanks for the commentary, and thanks to the trackers.
Alright, so if that being said, just GG's to all of you, and I hope to see you all in future races.
I'll echo that. A good game to everybody. Thank you for coming out and putting on a very quick display in an hour and a half or less. Thank you to both of our trackers who have come in here and kept us on point with all of the items. Thank everybody who showed up in chat or who watches the VOD later. Thank you for giving us an hour and a half of your time. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you very much. If you want to follow these runners, please do so. We have Eddie, Humbug, Scarlet, and CJ, as well as we did also have Mad Ewok Herd and Mr. Scrub Ninja Tuna as our trackers for today's little stream. And then just myself and Mendium, give us a follow as well. As far as the schedule is concerned for this coming week, for the coming day today, we do have, currently going on Speed Gaming 1 right now, we do have our Hollow Knight Randomizer Lockout Bingo Tournament matchup. Over on Speed Gaming 2, we do have Pokemon Red 80% glitchless with no IT, which I believe is the instant text bug. Definitely want to check that out. But again, also, we're back on Speed Gaming 1 at 7:20 p.m. for the next qualifier of the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament for Speed Gaming Live. And then we also have at 9:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we do also have another qualifier on our hands, and that is the Speed Gaming Live 2020 Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer qualifiers. Definitely want to take a look at that as well. But all is what we have left to say is that I hope you enjoyed this little day today, and just thank you for watching, and I'll take it easy.